the Bishop Ford Freeway to the Indiana Toll Road, it's 14 minutes westbound. On the Edens Expressway, you're 15 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, southbound 14. Inbound Kennedy, delays are from 190 to Harlem, Sayre to Central, and Belmont most of the way to the Burn Circle. 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 15 from Montrose, 11 on the Express. Outbound 23 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower is now 45 minutes, 390 to downtown, 31 from Wool. Outbound 30 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 35 minutes. Outbound 22. The Rhine, 14 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. In our AM 560 Weather Center, our meteorologist Steve Williams.
Breezy, it'll be sunny today, high 46. Clear tonight, low 30, and then sunny tomorrow, the high 56. Partly sunny, breezy Sunday, the high up to 64. AccuWeather's Minutecast has expanded to 4 hours. Download the app today. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
35 and sunshine at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
From the Matrix Home Solutions studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
For a 10-ounce bar of silver, Amy, which would you select?
I'm going to go with the 10-ounce bar of silver.
Well, that would separate you from many Americans.
What I want to Hershey.
1 ounce of silver, I think the spot price is about $26 and change at present.
It's a better deal than a Hershey chocolate bar.
Not according to some.
It's your lucky day today. You win a free 10-ounce silver bar, pure silver bullion, or a free Hershey's king-size chocolate bar.
Take this one.
You'll take the chocolate bar.
Oh
Who needs a 10-ounce bar of silver? Have a good day. It's your choice. A free 10-ounce bar of silver bullion or a free king-size Hershey bar.
I think I'll take the Hershey bar.
Go ahead.
Oh my-
It's your lucky day. Just fresh out of the refrigerator.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who needs a 10-ounce bar of silver when you can have a good, delicious bar of chocolate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You'd rather have the Hershey bar than the silver bar?
Yes, I would.
Oh, you would? Okay.
Yeah, the Hershey bar, you just can't eat the silver bar.
Yeah, that's right. You can't eat the silver. What are you going to do with a 10-ounce bar of silver, right? You know. Which one do you want?
Probably the chocolate, because I'm a girl and
Go.
it's been a cranky day.
Okay, it's yours.
Well, she's
Eat it
honest
quick
there.
because
Now we
it's
have an
getting hot out
explanation.
here.
Fine.
Just offering people a free Hershey bar today or a free silver bar. Which one would you prefer?
Silver. I'll take the...
Who needs a silver bar? Lucky day today, a free chilled Hershey bar straight out of the fridge, or this bar of silver. It's 10 ounces.
What are you guys doing?
Which one do you want?
Well, I don't have any way to do anything with the silver.
Okay, so you'd prefer the Hershey bar?
Yeah, but is it real?
Yes. Just straight out of the fridge.
Doesn't seem real.
Oh my God.
The Hershey bar doesn't seem real. I mean, we could go into this coin shop, we could verify the silver bar is real.
No, that's all right.
It's real.
I'll always take chocolate.
Always take chocolate. Enjoy.
Maybe they were hungry and stupid.
The guy doing those man on the street interviews, was wearing a T-shirt that read "Sound Money," and also, as he just mentioned, we played to the end. We can go into that coin store right there. He pointed to it. They showed the marquee, and verify that's a real silver bar. At which point, perhaps she would have found out that the 10 ounces of silver is much more valuable than the Hershey bar. She could buy many more Hershey bars.
Exactly.
With the silver.
Buy yourself a meal too.
But what does that example tell us about a certain mindset? a lack of ability to pick up on cues, a lack of intellectual curiosity about things that you don't know about. I mean, I understand if somebody's ignorant about the price of silver, but I don't know. It seems to me it's not less about people being stupid. I mean, ignorant, okay, and more about their just lack of curiosity, which is something we come back to again and again, regardless of the topics we're discussing. For more on mindsets, we're pleased to be joined by Julia Galef. She's the host of the popular Rationally Speaking podcast, advisor to OpenAI. We were just talking about that the other day with the artificial intelligence language that predicts language. She also works with the Open Philanthropy Project and co-founded the Center for Applied Rationality. Her new book, The Scout Mindset, Why Some People See Things Clearly and Others Don't. Julia, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So what about our little vignette there, and how do you sort of process that in terms of the larger discussion you have in your book about, sort of good thinking and not so good thinking?
Well, it was very amusing. I was grinning the whole time. What really went through my mind was in one of the chapters of my book, I talk about the importance of being curious, and especially the importance of being curious when it seems like other people are being stupid or crazy or irrational or evil. And instead of just being, disgusted with them or disdainful of them, trying to get curious about why do they think the way they do or why are they behaving the way they do. And so I kind of went through that process in real time as I was listening to those interviews, because my first reaction was, oh, these people are so crazy to pick the chocolate bar when they could pick the silver bar and then sell it and buy many chocolate bars. And then I noticed that reaction. I was like, wait, I'm preaching scout mindset. I should really get curious about why they made that choice that seems so wrong to me. And so I had started to form some theories about why they might have made that choice.
All right, what are some of the theories? That maybe they were starving?
So that's a good theory.
Yeah.
If you're sufficiently starving, I guess a chocolate bar could be preferable to a silver bar. I mean, one of my theories was that maybe they didn't think the silver bar was real, whereas a Hershey bar looks more, it's like instantly recognizable, whereas a silver bar is like a weird thing that might be a trick. And then I laughed when that one woman asked, is the Hershey bar real?
Right,
so that kind of contradicted my theory,
Right. He was willing to go in and verify it with the coin store right there with her, but no, that's fine. I prefer chocolate anyway.
Right.
But I mean, it's also just this, so that it's sort of what you're getting to, sort of the lack of curiosity about things that we don't know. And maybe it's just intellectual laziness, but I guess that has to be a part of it. And maybe it's just comfort with things we do know, because of course, as you were just saying, the binary choice is something I know, the brand I recognize, versus something, 10 ounces of silver bullion I don't normally come across in my daily life.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think it's very understandable to be intellectually, quote unquote, lazy a lot of the time, just because we've got a lot to do,
Yeah.
We can't be constantly thinking really hard about every little thing. And so I'm not really judging people for that kind of normal lack of intellectual curiosity about everything. The thing I think becomes more problematic is when, there's something that's maybe a little bit more important and you're kind of actively resisting figuring it out, or actively resisting considering the possibility that you might be wrong about something because, that would make you feel stupid, or because it might make you look bad or something like that. That's I think, the especially damaging kind of anti-curiosity.
Let's talk about a anecdote that would be that would get people more focused. And since I love sort of this genre of disaster movie, How to Survive Being Stranded in the Middle of the Ocean, the scout mindset applied.
Yeah, so there's a story I tell in my book about, it's a true story. I found it in the book Adrift, written by a man named Stephen Callahan, who was on a solo voyage across the Atlantic, and his ship capsized, and he managed to survive in his life raft, but there he was in the middle of the Atlantic, like 1,400 miles away from the nearest land with only a few supplies. And so he seemed to be almost surely a goner, but he figured, well, I've got to at least try to survive. And the reason that I'm telling this story is because, one of the biggest reasons why we fail to see things clearly is just because, it's stressful or scary or just unpleasant to consider unpleasant things that might possibly be true. And when you're in a life or death situation like Stephen Callahan was, that's especially the case because he had to think about very unpleasant possibilities like, what is the chance that a ship is never going to come by and see me? How long before my body starts breaking down? All of these really unpleasant scenarios. And the more common thing in those kinds of emergency situations is for people to kind of cling to denial because it's just too frightening to consider the reality. And Stephen Callahan is a great counterexample where he was just very clear-eyed about the situation. He writes about this in his memoir, very clear-eyed about estimating probably a ship is not going to see me. Probably I can only afford to drink, 1 liter of water a day. And he just had a very kind of matter-of-fact approach to thinking about what he needed to do to survive. And so in the book, I talk about, why did he succeed at that? Why was he able to face these uncomfortable and terrifying truths when so many people fail at that? And the answer is basically that he found ways of coping with these stressful, scary situations without resorting to self-deception. And that's one of the big things that I hope people take away from my book is that there's lots of ways to deal with negative emotions that don't require you to, engage in wishful thinking or rationalization or denial.
Yeah, you raised the issue of emotion, and that's where I was going to go, is that the nexus between sort of emotional feedback and the quality of your cognition.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a huge part of it, much more so than I think we realize because it's often just unconscious. We feel like we're being reasonable and rational and objective and fair-minded, but kind of underneath the surface, we are, as I put it in the book, we're acting like soldiers trying to defend our beliefs or the things that we want to be true against any evidence that might threaten them. So I call that soldier mindset, and that's why the book is called Scout Mindset, because I'm trying to propose this alternative to being a soldier. Instead, I'm trying to encourage people to be more like a scout, where you're not trying to attack or defend ideas, you're trying to go out and survey the land and see what's actually there.
All right, Julia, can I have some advice here, please?
So I'll do my best.
I'm trying to control myself when I see people walking down the street in Chicago alone with 3 masks on and a shield. And are they even worth approaching? And I wish I could not get angry when I see that, but every day I'm getting more and more upset with this absurdity. Because I feel like there's a soldier mindset out there like, oh, she's doing it. Well, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to even protect myself more. And I'm going to put on 2 masks. Now I'm going to put on 3 masks.
Well, so one thing that I try to have Scout Mindset about a lot, and that I think probably many people could benefit from having Scout Mindset about, is the question of, is this a useful thing for me to be spending my energy on? And, I don't know you and your situation, but maybe it's not the most useful thing to, spend your energy on to try to
change them,
correct people, to try to change people's minds about that. I think it's valuable to change people's minds about some things. I think people who think vaccinations cause autism are wrong, and I think that's a harmful thing to be wrong about. And so I think that's the kind of thing where it's maybe worth trying to persuade people gently and effectively. But the mask issue to me doesn't seem worth spending your energy on. Okay. But I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, it's applying the Scout mindset to whether or not there are underlying issues on masks. I mean, not to dwell on that so much, but something else you said too in terms of combating knee-jerk biases, making smarter decisions gently. So regardless of what the topic is, if you're going around, sort of preemptively correcting people or trying to jackpot people because you disagree with the decisions they're making, the way they're living, so on and so forth, that seems to be sort of part of the the toxicity, to borrow one of the common phrases these days in the culture, is that everybody wants to lord over everybody else, or not everybody, but certain people want to lord over others and sort of manage their lives for them. And you can understand where people recoil at that a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I feel the impulse in myself as well. I sometimes refer to it as someone is wrong on the internet syndrome.
Yeah, right.
There's a web comic called XKCD, which shows this guy sitting at the computer, and his partner asks, are you coming to bed? And he says, I can't. Someone is wrong on the internet.
Oh my God, that's
right, exactly.
And so I definitely, fall prey to this impulse too. But sometimes I'm able to successfully step back and ask myself, honestly, what am I accomplishing here? And is it worth the time and energy that I'm pouring into it? And usually the answer is no.
Amen.
So I think that's a good question to ask yourself.
Hey, just sort of as an offshoot, since you're an advisor to OpenAI, we had this conversation with Cade Metz the other day, the New York Times reporter wrote the book Genius Makers, and we're talking about GPT-3. And what about the idea that you could have artificial intelligence compose poetry and sort of mimic language, or maybe even do a better job than most human beings do at applying the language, and how artificial intelligence can either make us more inclined to the scout mindset or perhaps less, more intellectually lazy?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I should clarify that I'm not an AI expert myself. The advising that I was doing, I guess, a year or two ago for OpenAI was more about organizing workshops where people who had disagreements about, AI and how it should go and what the future is going to look like could try to get to the bottom of their disagreements in, a scout mindset kind of way.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm not so much of a technical AI expert. It's important to clarify. But I think that's an interesting question about, how, as AI develops, how is it going to change our own reasoning? And, an optimistic take might be that it'll improve our reasoning because we'll have this kind of model to look to that doesn't have emotions affecting its conclusions as much as humans do, and maybe that'll be an inspiration to us.
Well, that's certainly a good example of a topic area where the scout mindset is super important because of the impact on society that artificial intelligence will continue to have. She is Julia Galef, host of the popular Rationally Speaking podcast, advisor to OpenAI, as we were just discussing, works with the Open Philanthropy Project, and co-founded the Center for Applied Rationality, the book, The Scout Mindset, Why Some People See Things Clearly and Others Don't. Julia, thanks for joining us. Good luck with the book.
My pleasure. This was fun. Thank you.
Thank you. And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan all year long that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, and if you're 50 years old and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. The least expensive ACA PPO health insurance plan is $540 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $8,550 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium down to $273 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $6,050 in total out-of-pocket costs per person with my lower deductible, and you save $267 per month with my lower premiums. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Sweet Home Chicago, a city unlike any other, a culinary landscape unmatched anywhere else, especially when it comes to Italian beef. If you haven't experienced Pop's Italian beef and sausage yet, simply put, you're missing out. A Chicagoland staple for the past 41 years, Pop's is family-owned and the award-winning beef recipe is cooked fresh daily in every